What up, guys? Today we're going to be power scaling Dragon Ball Super's Universe 6 versus 7 tournament arc, and this is the third arc of Dragon Ball Super. Now, this happens right after Resurrection of F, and I forgot to mention in my last video, I forgot to do the calculations for Golden Frieza's multipliers. It should be pretty simple since he stated that he was much stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku even at full power. He should be around like 2 times more powerful, so we should just upscale his power in his golden form times 2 of both Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta's. And the only reason Goku and Vegeta were able to do anything to him was because he didn't perfect his golden form and he had stamina issues. That was the only reason he was losing. So for my last calculation that I did for Goku and Vegeta, I stated we're going to be regularly balling them or mid-balling them. They should be realistically be able to destroy 12 universes in their base, since base Goku should be equivalent to Super Saiyan God Goku, and Vegeta has matched that power, and that was all the way in the Battle of Gods arc. But at that point, when we got to the Resurrection of F arc, into the start of, Frieza coming there, they got 2 times stronger. So they went from, what Super Saiyan God Goku was able to achieve in Battle of Gods, got transferred to his base, then Vegeta equaled that, and then they multiplied by 2. Now, the amount of power that they had, that we calculated off of Battle of Gods was, since the Dragon Ball universe is a macrocosm with multiple different universe-sized entities on top of it, it would go around to like 5 to 6 times our universe. So I pretty much just put it at 6 times universal, both Goku and Vegeta at base. So by a 2, that would make it 12. So both Goku and Vegeta at the beginning of, or when Resurrection of F started, would be 12 times universal in base, and then we would have just had to multiply that by Super Saiyan 1, which was 600, Super Saiyan 2, which was 1200, and then Super Saiyan 3, which was 4800, and then we did Super Saiyan God, we just did a low ball to just 2 times multiplier, which would be 9600. And then what Super Saiyan Blue, since it's just Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan God, it should be another 50 times multiplier, which would make it up to 480,000 times universal. So at 100% power, both Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta should be able to one-shot 480,000 universes. And since Frieza is 2 times stronger than that, he would be able to one-shot 960,000 universes. So only like 40,000 short of 1 million universes. So at this point already, we see how ridiculously powerful these characters are able to get, especially at their max power. So max powered Golden Frieza would be able to one-shot 960,000 universes, and Super Saiyan Blue, Goku, and Vegeta at max would be able to wipe out 480,000 universes. So they're getting pretty high up and really fast in the power scaling with all these other transformations stacked on top of it, and then the amount of power they're able to increase throughout the series. Even with just a 2 times multiplier, it's a significant jump in power, especially when you get to these higher numbers. Now let's start with the beginning of the Universe 6 versus 7 tournament arc, where we first see Goku and Vegeta training on Beerus's planet once again. This time they're training with some weird suits. And these suits are supposed to be very, very heavy. So when they're doing their like workout routine right now, what they were pretty much doing when we first saw them is they were doing kind of like handstand of 1-finger push-ups. So they were standing up doing 1-finger push-ups, which is already pretty hard. And they did 50,000 of them. And they were wearing these suits, which Vegeta stated himself, saying these suits put more stress on the body than Bulma's gravity chamber, which is pretty crazy because Bulma's gravity chamber at a baseline for when we've seen Vegeta use it is at least 150 times Earth's gravity, and it can go up to like around like 400 times Earth's gravity. So it's pretty insane that has more stress on their body than even Bulma's gravity machine, and especially since Goku and Vegeta at this point in their base are far stronger. So that's pretty impressive to see them be able to train with that. Especially doing the crazy training that they were doing and the amount of reps they were able to do. Now, after this, we have Champa arriving to Beerus's planet, and he's looking for Beerus to, start the competition. And at this point, Beerus is, he thought that Goku and Vegeta were making noise as they were training there, so he was going on a rampage trying to attack them. Champa almost showed up and he almost killed Champa. So for Champa to stop him, he starts screaming. And we see this powerful blast that knocks down trees and it completely moves past. Now, this is impressive because this is a type of superpower that we've seen in a lot of other characters like Black Canary, where she has the ability to have a sonic scream. So it's cool just showcasing how powerful these characters are, that they can have something that, another character in another fictional world that would be considered their actual power. And this is just like a, side power thing that they have from just being super powerful. But after this happens, both Beerus and Champa, they have their meeting, they're talking. They're basically testing out each other's food. And as Champa is talking, he mentions a competition. Beerus misunderstands this and thinks that he wants to fight him. He doesn't, but Beerus, basically insults him. So he's like, okay, then let's go. They both get up onto the table. They walk up to each other, start punching, and we see this light form underneath the table, and then there's like this the ground of the table starts to look kind of like something that would be like cement. It starts to dry out and it's moving past, and as this is happening, Whis basically tells them to stop. He says a god of destruction should not fight another god of destruction, and Vados goes on to say also, otherwise both the 6th and 7th universe will get destroyed. So this is pretty impressive. First, what they were doing when they were hitting each other, their Hakai energy was expanding out as they were just starting this fight. And this Hakai energy, since it's destruction energy, it basically eradicates things. So it was decaying everything there. And until Goku touched it, it was still like intact until Goku touched it and it broke. But just them fighting a little bit, they can generate some energy that can basically kill the things around it, which is just insanely impressive. And then with Whis stating that 2 gods of destructions are not allowed to fight because of how dangerous it is, and then Vados going on to say yes, because both the universes would be destroyed. So once again, we got a statement about a universal level feat. This time, though, just specifically from the gods of destruction themselves. So yeah, that means that if 2 gods of destructions were to fight, they would be so powerful that they would be able to destroy both their universes. And remember, once again, these are not regular sized universes. They're like multiple universes. So this would be like 12 universes, being able to wipe out 12 whole universes. And they just started fighting. So I don't think this is how powerful they would be if they were to just go all out. This is just them fighting a little bit. But after this, we get an explanation for Champa. He explains what the reason he came there for. He wanted a competition by picking warriors to battle it out. And he mentions the Super Dragon Balls, which are stated to be planet size. And they are actually pretty big. They are definitely planet size. As Vados and Champa, they go on to the arena stage that they're going to set up this fight in. And as they're going, Vados basically carries, they have 6 of them. They don't have the 7th one yet, but she carries 6 of these planet-sized orbs, and they're massive. We see them in comparison. They dwarf the moon to this planet, and they're the same size as the planet right there. So it just showcases not only, the magnitude of the Dragon Balls itself, but her power, being able to move that fast and carry 6 large planet-sized orbs with her, which must have been very heavy. Then they come to the planet, and Vados just starts showing her, her powers, because we know that the angels, they're pretty impressive. They have some pretty crazy hacks where they can pretty much create whatever they want. So she creates a barrier, and then she creates an atmosphere where Champa says, where she says to Champa, I created the air to resemble the atmosphere of planet Zerto. So not only could she create barriers, but she can also create oxygen and a whole atmosphere in there, just showcasing their weird magical powers of, creation itself. As this is happening, the Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the gang, they're trying to find the last Dragon Ball so they can have this whole competition. And they talk to Bulma, telling her, can you get create a new Dragon Ball radar that can find, these planet-sized orbs that are spread across basically these 2 universes, and the universe itself. And she's like, are you guys kidding me? The universe is big. And then she explains some pretty interesting stuff about the cosmology, as she goes on to say that we are located at the edge of the universe, so the radar is not able to scan the whole universe. So to find the Super Dragon Balls, we need to go to the center of the universe to increase the range of the radar. Now, this is important for 2 reasons. One, we get a confirmation a bit about how the cosmology works in Dragon Ball and where the Milky Way galaxy is located in the Dragon Ball universe. In the Dragon Ball universe, the Milky Way galaxy and our planet is pretty much on the edge of the universe, which in our world, that isn't the case. Our world's more closer to the center, or there is no real center, but like figurative like center, but it's nowhere near the edge of the universe. But in the Dragon Ball world, even though it's kind of a replica of ours, they have the same stuff. It is a little bit different what their one being on the edge, and this is important for a feat later on that I'll mention. But also the fact that she mentioned that there's a center of the universe, which is pretty interesting because in our universe there is no center of the universe, because the Big Bang Theory, even though it says Big Bang, it wasn't an explosion. I explained this a couple times on my channel. I made a whole video about it. But the universe started off as an expansion. And for an explosion, they need an epicenter where the explosion, like, detonates off from. So of the Big Bang was an explosion event, then the universe would have had a center. But our universe doesn't have a center since all of space pulls out into every different direction simultaneously instead of just one specific direction. So they're moving all congruently, like in different angles. But in their world, they do have a center. Now, does this mean that their universe started with an explosion or whatever? Who knows? But their universe maybe is just a misunderstanding of science, because in real world, there is no center of the universe. But I think just Toriyama or whoever thought of this just didn't understand real world science, so they just like thought of it. But whatever, it's still pretty impressive to see. But after this, Goku and Vegeta started reminiscing about what happened there, and they start talking and say that if they were about both Beerus and Champa fighting, they said if they were to continue, the universe would probably have been destroyed. So once again, they confirmed that these two gods, when they're fighting, they're so powerful and deadly that the universe would be destroyed. And they just started fighting. They said it would probably, if it was to continue. They weren't saying that it was at their full power. So I don't want anybody to use this as, see, this means that they're not actually, universal or past that, because even the gods of destruction, who are way stronger than these guys like Goku and Vegeta, even them fighting all out was only going to destroy both the universes. But it was just that they started a fight, and they said even a bit of the fight would have resulted in that. Now, after this, Goku's like, you know what, this tournament's going to be fun. He's talked to Vegeta. He's like, you know what we can do, since we got like a few days to prepare for, this tournament, because they only have like 5 days for it. He said, let's go into hyperbolic time chamber. I trained there for 3 days. And Vegeta said, what's the point? He even tells him, he says, our powers are already near their limits. Now, this is a little confusing, and this, it's a little weird, because for us as fans, when we saw this first, when he stated that we are at our limits, that pretty much the assumption was, when we first saw this, was that means these guys can't grow in terms of power anymore. The only way they could get stronger or be able to, fight bigger threats is simply to be, getting some hacks abilities or using some techniques. That wasn't clearly true, because we see later on they keep on getting stronger and stronger. So that's kind of BS. I don't know why they put that in. I just think that that dialogue is just incorrect. And I felt like putting it in here for a reason, due to the fact that I know people are going to use that as an argument, saying, well, Goku and Vegeta are at their limits. Vegeta literally stated that they're at their limits, so they can't actually get any time stronger after that. But that isn't true, due to the fact that we do see them increase in terms of power pretty rapidly throughout the rest of Dragon Ball Super. So that is just stupid. I don't know why they wrote that in. And that's one of the reasons where I have a problem with the power scaling with, Dragon Ball Super, where there's inconsistencies like that kind of contradict certain things. But I would just say, if you guys hear that argument, just ignore it, because clearly it's been disproven in the show itself. But after this, Bulma goes to see this one other guy named Zenu or whatever. But this guy, he has the knowledge of the entire universe. He knows everything. So she goes there with Jocko to ask him some questions about the Super Dragon Balls. And he gives us a bit of, an estimate on how big these Super Dragon Balls are. He goes on to say, are perfect spheres with a diameter of 37,196.22204 kilometers. Now, this is massive. I'll show you guys a little bit of representation, a little bit of scaling of how big these Dragon Balls would be compared to our Earth, our planet Earth, and the other planets in our solar system. Where would it range in size? But it is definitely bigger than the Earth, and I will be showing that towards the tail end of this video. So, just wait till the end of the video as a whole. Now, after this, they're pretty much training in the hyperbolic time chamber. Their 3 years had passed. They're pretty much done, and everybody's ready to leave. They're kind of taking some time, and as they're ready to leave, Whis basically tells everybody that, hey, look, the journey will take approximately 3 hours. Now, to give a little bit of more context, he did say first they're going to go to Beerus's planet, then they're going to go to, the nameless planet, which was called. Now, there's two pretty interesting things. One, both Goku and Vegeta training in the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 years should have multiplied their power by at the very least 2 times. So that means that Goku and Vegeta, by the beginning or before the tournament actually starts, they should be 2 times stronger. So that means that both Goku and Vegeta at 100% power or Super Saiyan Blue at full max should be equivalent to Golden Frieza now. So now they should be able to bridge the gap between Golden Frieza and them. So that means Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta can one-shot 960,000 universes in Super Saiyan Blue. So they're equivalent to him now. So when we ever see any feats of them struggling in Super Saiyan Blue, that means pretty much whoever they're fighting against that's able to beat them can also beat, Golden Frieza. So that's at the very least, I would say they got 2 times stronger. Even though they trained for 3 years, they should possibly be a bit stronger. But just for, conservative, estimates, I'm just going to say 2 times. Now, the 3-hour journey thing is very important because, like I mentioned before, that the Dragon Ball universe or the Dragon Ball Earth and Milky Way is at the edge of the universe. And they're going to the nameless planet, which was stated by Whis to be, or stated to be at the other end of the universe. And I'll show you guys a bit of my feats or a bit of my argument on why I believe there's an edge to the universe. A lot of people say that, no, the Dragon Ball universe is infinite. I do not agree to that. You guys have seen my arguments multiple times. I stated that there is an end because we saw the end to the bounds of it. And I will show that later on. But also them saying that the Dragon Ball Earth is at the one end of the edge of the universe also kind of hints at the fact that there's an end to it because there wouldn't be an edge if it was infinite or at least infinitely growing or whatever. So I'm not going to get into that, but I'm going to just say for argument of sake, I'm going to do 2 calculations in the end of the video also for this, for them being able to travel 3 hours across from the Earth, which is on one end of the universe, and to the nameless planet, which is on the other end of the universe, meaning that this travel that Whis does, he travels from one end of the universe to the other, meaning he traveled the entire universe within 3 hours. So just with that statement alone is really impressive. That means that Whis is fast enough to travel across the entire universe in 3 hours itself. That's insanely fast, and I have whole calculations for that, how many times that would be compared to the speed of light. Now, some people might make an argument saying, well, he stated that he's going to go to Beerus's planet first, so that should mean that most likely he meant like 3 hours to Beerus's planet, but that isn't true because in the last arc, I also mentioned how when Goku asked Whis, he's like, hey, can you just take us to Earth? And he said, no, it's going to take too long. It's going to take 35 minutes. So we already know the distance between Beerus's planet and Earth is only 35 minutes, but this one took 3 hours. So clearly this is a 3-hour trip throughout the entire universe. Also, you could probably, make this feat a little bit more impressive by arguing that maybe he took or factored in the time that it will take for them to be on Beerus's planet because they're not just going to go there like for less than a second and then just automatically leave. So they probably could have taken like 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes off. So it might be even faster. He could have gone even faster if he didn't go there and just try to pick up Monaka. So still, in the end of the day, he was able to travel across the entire universe within 3 hours. After this, we get to the nameless planet. They see the venue and everything. They don't really like it. Beerus is like, this kind of trash. So Whis is like, okay, I'll get rid of it. He basically picks up his wand and disappears everything. So they can form things and then unform things pretty easily and create whatever they want. But then after this, we see the other Supreme Kais of Universe 6 talking to the Universe 7 Supreme Kais as they're talking to the Elder Kai. And they were around there, but the Elder Kai was talking to Goku right in front of them. He says, well, when I saw you fighting with Beer-sama, I thought I'd be a goner. So once again, they mentioned the fact that that event with both Goku and Vegeta, or not Goku and Beer, would have pretty much destroyed the entire macrocosm, everything, because they were still threatened. So yes, it is 100% once again mentioned. It's just not that they're going to keep on showing that thing over and over again, that scenario, because they already explained it in that arc, so they didn't have to retread the same thing over and over again. And it makes sense. But he pretty much, mentioned the fact that he was afraid that they were going to be dead because of the amount of power they were able to generate. But after this, we get the first fight with Goku versus Botamo. And as Goku's hitting Botamo, no matter what he does, no matter how hard he hits him, or whether he blasts him with energy attacks or physical attacks, he takes no damage. And Zhao kind of notices it, and he explains what is his power and how he's able to take it. He says he's transferring the damage he receives to a different dimension, and then goes on to say, whereas where the attacks are nullified. So that's pretty impressive. So we learned that one of Botamo's abilities, or his biggest ability, is the ability that he doesn't really take damage. So no matter how much you hit him or how hard you hit him, he has this weird thing around his body where it's kind of like a barrier thing that naturally is around his body, where if you hit him, that energy that you're transferring towards him will basically be transferred into another dimension where the attack doesn't just, like, the energy doesn't just stay there. The energy gets nullified, which is crazy as hell. So now, not only could he tank high levels of damage to whatever extent, we don't know if there's a limit to it. There probably is, but we just didn't see to what it limit. But he has another, when he gets attacked, he has another dimension within him where he can transfer all that damage to there, and it can be completely nullified, which means getting rid of it completely. So after this, Goku basically, he's like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to eliminate him if he can't take damage. So he does, he throws him out, and he says, if this weren't a tournament match, I might have lost. So even Goku kind of goes with the argument that, you know, I was pretty much, you know, hitting with what all I've got, and he was still able to handle it. So I don't even know if I would have won. He's not saying definitively he would have lost if it was just a straight up fight and there was no, you know, tournament rules, but he does acknowledge the fact that his ability is very OP, that even in his base, like I said, at this point, at this point, he should be even stronger because he got 2 times stronger. So at base, he should be able to one-shot 24 universes, yet he wasn't able to damage Botamo with his physical attacks or his Kamehameha. Now, he might have been holding back, but if he could have beat him that way, he would have just beat him that way instead of just eliminating him, you know? So I feel like that Botamo could, at the very least, handle base Goku, who is at least able to destroy 24 universes at this point. So that's still pretty impressive. He's able to take the damage of, you know, a guy who can one-shot 24 universes. That's pretty crazy. But after this, we have a bunch of fights happening. Goku beats him. He goes against Frost. Frost beats him. And then Piccolo jumps in to fight him. Piccolo can't really beat him, so he basically just charges up his special beam cannon to try to beat him with that. And he actually gets him at one point until Frost kind of cheats and stabs him with his poison, which makes him let go, and he goes to attack him, and he even states, had I been hit with that technique, I would have surely lost. So he himself admits that if he didn't cheat and break out of, you know, Piccolo's grasp when he held him, and if he was hit by his special beam cannon, he would have been taken out. Now, we don't know how powerful, you know, Frost is. We can get some, you know, estimates. Goku did go Super Saiyan against him, but then again, he was just playing around, and we know that just because he goes Super Saiyan doesn't mean he's using his God Ki or going all out or whatever. He's just doing it for fun. Also, he was pretty much easily bodying him. He didn't really need it, but Piccolo is still pretty powerful enough to nearly be able to take him out, and he had to cheat just to win. But he did get out of it. He attacked him, and he basically knocks Piccolo off, and his special beam cannon fires him into there. And as it does, it hits the barrier that's protecting them, and it breaks. And then, like, it breaks out to the outer space, which just showcases how powerful Piccolo's special beam cannon was. Not only could it beat Frost, but it was also powerful enough to destroy Vados's barrier. Though I'm not going to put it at such a high skill destroying her barrier, because she didn't make it unbelievably strong. She just, you know, made a decent enough barrier. But still, it's still impressive. But after this, you know, after Piccolo loses, Jocko kind of sees it. He says, yep, this guy's cheating. He poisoned him. That's the only reason he won. And then they're all like, okay, that's BS. So he should be eliminated. And Vegeta's like, no, keep him in there. Have Piccolo quit so I can fight him because he wanted to punish him. And Beerus is like, okay, so if he's out, I want to get at least Goku back in because Goku's our big hitter. And I think it was kind of unfair. And I think he cheated. So he went to inspect his body, found out. He says, I found a wound on Goku's body from Frost's poison needle. So he basically detected it. Now, this is important because it is a little weird that somebody as powerful as Goku could get, you know, penetrated. His skin could get penetrated by a needle. and also be poisoned. The poison didn't kill him, but it did knock him unconscious, which is pretty weird for a character on this level of power. I just feel like it's kind of ridiculous that he would be able to be pierced by the needle, but maybe you can explain that as, Frost says these characters can put their key into inanimate objects to increase the power, just like Trunks doing with his sword. He could have done that to the needle, and that's why he was able to break through skin, and since he wouldn't expect it, with the poison acting on him, I don't know how that works, unless he was able to, amplify the poison's effect by using his key, but whatever. But after this, we have Magetta versus Vegeta, and as he's fighting, Piccolo says, any half-hearted physical attacks will not work on the ironclad body of that guy. So he's saying that Vegeta's regular physical attacks are not going to really harm, Magetta's ironclad body that easy or that well. Now, some people might use this as a counter argument or an anti-feat, saying stuff like, "Oh, well, if these guys are this powerful, he's that powerful, then how come he couldn't damage some guy who just has an iron body?" Now, it might sound if you think of it surface level that, oh, they can't even harm somebody with an iron body, and we're supposed to believe they can destroy planets with punches or the universes and stuff. But the only reason that, he was able to handle it, and the reason why he mentions the ironclad thing, and it actually makes sense if we think about it logically, just think about the characters in Dragon Ball. They're made out of flesh, bone, and, and muscle, which is pretty soft and pretty fragile compared to iron in general, right? Normally, it's weaker compared to that. But in the Dragon Ball universe, these characters can increase their physical body, even though they're made out of flesh, by training and by also increasing their ki. So if they can, harden something like flesh and bone to be able to, take massive amount of damage to planet levels and universe levels, then it would make sense that somebody whose body is naturally already stronger and also can use ki would be able to amplify that already stronger body to be even crazier. So if you can make a body made out of flesh, bone, and meat, which is far weaker than, iron, and you can increase that to take that much damage, then can you imagine if your body was made out of iron, so your body's already naturally on top of that stronger, and then you're increasing that naturally stronger body compared to a weaker body. So it makes actual sense when you think about it that way, that why he was able to, it was hard to hurt him, because it's already hard to hurt somebody with a high levels amount of ki with just a regular physical body, like a human-made body, but with a body made out of iron or strong metal, and then on top of the ki, that means they would already have an advantage physically, naturally, and the ki would just give it an extra boost on top of that natural physical ability. So after that, we see Vegeta kind of struggling against Magetta, and the only reason he's struggling is because they created a second barrier that was shorter, where he can't go out of bounds. So if he touches it, he's basically, considered technically out of bounds, like how he falls out of the, arena. And this was a plan devised by, Champa to basically trick them. The real intention for this was not just to keep, Vegeta from having too much of a distance, but to also basically drain Vegeta of his stamina. And how is he doing this? Well, they find out what's happening, because he's kind of struggling, and they're wondering, he can't be this tired. But as they find out, they say the current situation with the increase in heat and decrease in oxygen is affecting Vegeta's stamina. So what happened was, since Magetta basically uses lava and he produces a ton of heat, he basically makes the area hotter. So not only is it hot there, but it's also harder to breathe. And with the second barrier there, it basically shortens the amount of oxygen in that place. So that would make it even harder to breathe. And the air coming from there is trapped from underneath the arena. It's trapped. And then it's also kind of being pushed back with the heat. So it's kind of making it even hotter. So it's kind of turned into a hot box on one hand, and then it's also depleting the oxygen levels. So the oxygen levels are low, and the heat is high and intense. So not only is he dealing with the heat, but he's also dealing with a low amount of oxygen, which we know that at this point, Dragon Ball characters, the main Dragon Ball characters, especially Goku and Vegeta, even at this point, are still, can die without a lack of oxygen. So the lower amount of oxygen affects him, and that's the only reason. It wasn't just the heat, it was that on top of it. Now, some people are going to say, well, isn't it kind of ridiculous that these guys are getting hurt by lava, or there's a being with lava-based powers and he's able to harm them? But remember, guys, just like have you seen other forms of media and anime, like in Naruto, where we have people like Gaara who hurts people with sand? Even though it's just sand, these characters are far more powerful than that. But the reason why that sand is so powerful is they're able to infuse their chakra into, like sand, like how Gaara does. or their, other jutsus like their water and fire jutsus, which amplified further. And this is kind of the same thing in Dragon Ball, where they can basically put their ki into other things like inanimate objects to increase the power there, but also to things that they're using, like if they shoot like fire out of their mouth, it isn't regular fire. This fire is enhanced with the ki that they're able to produce their body. And we do see this with Vegeta as he's powering up. We see this red aura around him. So it's not him just using regular lava, because some people might argue, well, it's like, oh, his only weapon really is lava, yet it's actually has, it doesn't beat him, but it actually works pretty well. But the argument for that, kind of argument I have for that, is the fact that they basically can do what they do in Naruto, where they're able to mix their energy with this natural like source and then make it amplified. So just like in Naruto, how they can have like Gaara, amplifying his sand with his chakra by infusing it in there. And I'm pretty sure that's what Vegeta is doing too. He's infusing his ki into the magma, not only making it hotter, but also making it actually more potent and be able to affect them. But as this is happening, Vegeta's had enough. He's like, screw this barrier, screw this whole situation. I'm tired of, struggling to breathe. So he just goes all out with a powerful attack. He does his final flash, and it generates a ton of power, so much so that it starts sending out electricity throughout the entire planet. We just see it covering the entire planet, which is pretty impressive. And then he basically takes out Vegeta and he beats him. After that fight, when he beats Vegeta, he goes on to fight against Kaba. And I know recently now, especially like a couple of weeks ago in particular, there's been a big debate between Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta versus Kaba, and people saying that Kaba would dominate Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta because the super characters are far more powerful than the GT characters. And that doesn't mean every character from Super is going to be way more powerful or equivalent, but there are certain characters that might, due to certain statements or what we've seen or been shown throughout Dragon Ball Super. And Kappa is one of them because of one particular statement by Vegeta while he was fighting him. And I'm going to talk about that a little. I'm not going to go into that too much because that's not the whole point of this video, but it is kind of a topic that a lot of the, not only Dragon Ball fans, but anime fans have been kind of going on about recently. And I think it's very important because this was the arc that pretty much put that into there. And this feat is specifically where Vegeta and, Kaba, they're basically having a key clash between both of their Gal guns. And as they're, going at each other in base, Vegeta states to him, says, not bad, in normal form, we're evenly matched. So this led people to state that, Kaba at base, Kaba is equivalent to base Vegeta at this point, which this base Vegeta would be even stronger than, Super Saiyan God Goku, because at this point, like I stated earlier with Goku, their multiplication for their base should be at least 24 times universal. So they should be able to destroy 24 universes with one shot. And if Kaba is equivalent to that, then that means he'll be able to one-shot 24 universes himself, which would put him at a really, really high scaling. But the argument here is the statement by what Vegeta made about him, is it accurate or is it just some BS? Personally, if I'm being honest, I'm leaning more towards BS, and I'll go into why that is and why I think that is. But also, as I already covered in the last two arcs, there is a lot of statements that they make, and even in this arc, where they don't really make much sense. And yes, you could say, well, the statements of it, they stated that it must be true, but remember, you have to go by consistency. Is this consistent, or does it make sense of what we've seen? If not, then you gotta disregard that. Just like Vegeta saying, we're pretty much reaching our physical limit, which isn't true because they keep on getting stronger throughout the series, so that contradicts that. So is there anything that contradicts this? Well, I do have a bit of an argument there. One, when Vegeta was fighting against him, he turns Kaba into Super Saiyan. He turns him into a Super Saiyan. Now, this is interesting for two things. One, when Vegeta turned him into a Super Saiyan, you can see that he was teaching him. So clearly, Vegeta was not going all out on him. So most likely, when he was fighting against him in his base, he was either holding back and was comparing him to how powerful he was while he was holding back, or he was just saying that as a words of encouragement, just to get Kaba to fight more, feel more proud, because he does tell Kaba to keep on getting stronger and keep that in mind and stuff like this. And remember, before this, we had Beerus stating to Goku that, oh, you're actually the second strongest person that I've ever fought, which isn't true. We know Monaka was not stronger than Goku. Goku was actually the strongest. The only reason he said it, since he was trying to train him and trying to get him stronger, was to basically hype him up more. And I feel like Vegeta's doing the same thing as Beerus, where he's lying just to hype him up. Just like how Beerus said that he was using 100% of his power against Goku, which we know that wasn't true. And then, even if you don't want to take that as, oh, Vegeta's probably just lying to him, it could also just be an incorrect statement due to the fact that we've seen quite a few, like, Beerus stating that in Enraged Super Saiyan 2, Vegeta made him use more, like 10% of his power, which we know that's not true at all, because even at this point, Super Saiyan Blue evolved Vegeta got easily bodied, and he should be way more than that Vegeta at that point, because that would mean that Beerus at max would be only 10 times stronger than a fully enraged Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, and Super Saiyan Blue evolved Vegeta, and with all the multiplications about him being stronger, should be far stronger than that, so I don't buy that. So there's a contradiction there, so you could use that for the same thing for here, where there's nothing that Kaba does that proves that he is actually that powerful, and it could just be either a false statement that's incorrect, or a statement that he's lying just to train him, because that was the point of, Vegeta was training him the entire time. Here, that was the point of him fighting him, and that's the same thing that Beerus did. And there's a little bit of evidence to this when Kaba does go Super Saiyan. He starts fighting Vegeta. He actually pushes him back, and he's able to hurt him. So you can argue that, yeah, see, it's proving it right here. He's able to do that, and Super Saiyan is able to push him back and hurt him. If he wasn't equivalent to him, then how would he be able to do that? But once again, this is Vegeta training him, and we do see that that isn't the case, because yes, at first he's pushing him back, but once when Vegeta is no longer playing around, he basically lets Kaba get a free hit. As he goes, he punches him in the face, and we just see Vegeta straight up tanking the punch. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't take any real serious damage. He just takes the punch directly to the face. Now, why does that contradict the argument about, Vegeta stating that Kaba and him are equivalent in base? Because if they're equivalent in base, they should be equivalent in all the other forms. At this point, he only had Super Saiyan, so they could only be equivalent in both Super Saiyan forms, right? But the problem with that, of their equivalent in Super Saiyan forms, then how come Vegeta was able to tank Super Saiyan Kaba's punch full force to the face and not take any damage? If they're equivalent in power, right? If I have the same amount of power as somebody else, and the person allows me to punch them, even if they embrace for the punch, they would take some damage or be pushed back a little, because we would have same amount of power. So for him not to be pushed back a little or take any damage, that must mean that Vegeta actually was significantly stronger and was just holding back against, Super Saiyan Kaba. And the only reason he was doing that was because in the end of the fight, he tells him that, hey, I want you to know how the power of Super Saiyan feels, and I want you to transform again, so I can know that you can actually transform back into it easy. Because we know just because you unlock a new transformation doesn't mean you could easily master it and control it now. You can go into it in and out in that form whenever. That just means that you could do it the first time, but he needs to be able to feel it fully to know if he can actually do it again. So Vegeta was testing him out. He was letting him fight in his Super Saiyan form, and the only reason he was pushing him back is because Vegeta was holding back. If Vegeta wanted to, he could have ended it quick. He took that punch directly to the face, and it did no damage to him. The only reason he allowed him to keep on getting those hits and push him back was simply due to the fact that he wanted him to be fighting in Super Saiyan a little bit longer, so he can know the feel of it. The more he gets the feel of Super Saiyan, the easier it is for him to go back into Super Saiyan again or unlock it again. So he just wanted him to understand the feeling. And the fact that he tanked the punch and didn't flinch or move at all or took any damage clearly showcases that they're not equivalent in power, because once when he got serious, he didn't do shit. And Akabe was not holding back. He didn't, hesitate. He literally threw a full-on punch because he thought he was going to destroy his planet. But he just took it, and then he's like, yep, that was nothing. But I talked about that quite a bit. All I'm going to say, if you guys wanted me to make a video in the future talking about is, Kaba really actually equivalent to, Vegeta at this point? Was base Kaba and base Vegeta, equivalent in terms of power? I will make a video about that. But for right now, I would just say no, because of what he was showing with Super Saiyan. If he was, then that punch would have at least done some damage. But after this, we have Champa talking to Vados. Basically, Vados explains to Champa what Hit wants. Hit wants apparently the cube that they came with. And he goes on to explain with the Q, people can go to any place they want, including other universes. Now, this has nothing to do with the power scaling, but this is a bit of the cosmology showcasing that they do have other forms of transportation, where this cube thing is actually pretty impressive. Not only can it go to any place of the universe, but even in other universes, which they use to go from universe 6 to universe 7, which is pretty impressive. But after this, Vegeta starts fighting against Hit. Hit is actually bodying him. Vegeta can't do anything. He does devise a plan to basically bait him in. He says that every time Hit hits him, he's hitting with light attacks, and he can't really hit heavy. So he was waiting for him to hit him the light attack so he can grab him and hit him. But as he did it, he transitioned to heavy and hit him. But Vegeta wasn't able to interact it and counter it or whatever. So now Goku's wondering what's happening. Vegeta's wondering what's happening. How is Hit able to, move these distance in such a short amount of time without showing any signs of movement? So that was the biggest thing, is how is he doing without any movement? And as he's doing this, the Galactic King or Emperor, he basically finds out what's happening, and he goes on to say, I only heard rumors, but apparently there's a people who can leap through a little amount of time. And he says, if I'm not mistaken, they can leap for 0.1 seconds. And then Jaco goes on to explain to Goku a little bit more about how it works. He says they can freeze time for 0.1 second for everyone, but during that time, they can still move. So we find out about the, time leap or time skip or Tokitobashi, whatever you want to call it. Basically, what Hit does is he's able to skip forward in time. So what he's able to do and how it works pretty much is they stated he leaps forward in time through a little amount of time, which is 0.1 seconds, which isn't that much, but due to the fact that these characters are super fast, they can do quite a bit in that short amount of time. And he basically usually uses it for one-hit kills because he's so powerful. But yeah, not only can he leap forward in time, but he can do it only for 0.1 second, but he's also really fast, so it doesn't really, isn't that big of a, problem for him. And this is very useful when it comes to very powerful characters who are really fast, where little minor fractions of seconds are really, really important. And then Jaco explaining even further is really good because a lot of people are confused on how this ability works. So basically what he does is he kind of stops time and also kind of moves forward in time. We do get explained a little completely later towards before the Tournament of Power starts. But basically what it does is his opponents, when they try to attack him, they're frozen, but he is not. So he's able to move freely. So within the 0.1 second, they'll be frozen and he'll be able to move and do whatever he wants to them and beat the crap out of them while that they're frozen for that time. So that's why it looks like they're stopped and he keeps on moving forward. And the reason why they're really impressed that he was able to do it was, doing that was because he was able to move without them being able to detect it, which is pretty impressive. Now, going into this a little bit more and explaining how this would work, how powerful this is, if you freeze the time, even he isn't technically leaping forward in time. He's just stopping time and then doing whatever he can for that time, for the 0.1 second. And then once that time limit is done, then time goes back to resuming. So he's pretty much just stopping time. He's not leaping forward in time, actually. He's stopping time for everybody else except for himself. He's doing whatever he wants to them, damaging them. And then when the time limit goes off, then time starts to resume again. So it's pretty much a stop time like what Goldo is doing. The only difference is Goldo is dependent on how long he holds his breath, whereas him, it's due to a time limit, which is very short, but he's also very fast. After this, Goku goes down and he says, okay, I kind of understand how to fight him. So he starts off actually at base against, Hit. And he shows some pretty impressive stuff. He's able to counter a lot of Hit's techniques and his moves and his abilities, even in base. And he's actually able to get some damage off of Hit as he does a back fist. And he basically cuts Hit on the cheek and you see a bit of blood. After this also, Hit tries to use one of his the time skip ability again to catch Goku off guard. He tried hitting Goku first in the front, but Goku blocked it. Then he tried to do it from the side, but Goku also countered that. As we see, Hit is going to try to kick him, but Goku comes in and kicks him to the side, showcasing not only Goku's fast reflexes, but also his intelligence in a fight. He's not just a dumb guy. Even though in Super, he's a lot dumber, he's still a very intelligent, fighter. He's so smart that he was able to devise a way to, be able to do something even in base. Though Hit was obviously not going full out against him. He was just surprised why he was using his base because, he with a couple of hits, he was able to take down Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. But explaining this, it's actually pretty impressive when you think about it a little bit more. What Goku basically did was he realized how his ability works. So he basically, as he's frozen, he's basically thinking, what is he going to do in 0.1 seconds? What is, what is going to be his move? And he also knows how his fighting style works. Since he's an assassin and he targets vital points specifically, Goku knows all of his vital points. He also knows how to defend it, and he knows that what vital points he would go directly for. And he basically tells Hit that, and Hit's like, well, why would you tell me that? I'm just going to, change my fighting style. And he says, no. It's not that simple to change your fighting style in that short amount of time. This is something you're used to. It's part of your natural reflexes. So you're going to keep on doing it, and I'm going to be able to counter it. And he showed it right there, just showcasing Goku's intelligence, being able to, devise a plan like that and be able to also execute it to that high of a level, just showcases how good he is as a fighter also. So he was able to handle time skip through just technique and thinking alone. So he was able to predetermine what he was going to do before he did it and then respond right after. But after this is happening, Hit basically takes down Goku. He hits him and he's kneeling in his Super Saiyan Blue form, and he says, I've never thought about improving even once. So what we find out is that Hit not only has the ability to leap forward in time, basically freezing time and then do whatever he wants to go forward, but he also has the ability to improve. And this proving basically, unlike them where they basically power up or transform, or the Saiyans getting Zenkai boost where they have to be nearly beaten to death and then get revived to get insane power boost, Hit can naturally just get a power boost just by, existing. He has like a way where he can activate it or not activate it, and throughout his entire life, he never needed to activate it. So he was just this powerful and got this powerful through training. But now that he's fought against Goku, he was able to push him so much that he's like, you know what? I'm going to start improving myself. And we do see an increase as he was able to take down Goku, and Goku's wondering how. He says, he explains what how further he got. He said, and so I was able to increase the limit of time leap to 0.2 seconds, meaning that he got at least 2 times stronger. So within that short, brief moment where he was fighting against Goku, he was able to increase not only his time skims limit from 0.1 second to 0.2 seconds, but also got 2 times stronger. So there's quite a bit of impressive stuff here. One, he has the ability to improve and get stronger, which is already pretty impressive and OP, but he also got 2 times stronger in such a short time frame. And then also he's able to extend the amount of time that his time leap works, meaning that he's able to get off more hits on you while you're pretty much frozen and can't do anything. So that's pretty impressive. He got 2 times stronger. But as the fight progresses, Goku does put some pushback, and he increases it again as he goes on to say, you cannot counter my time leap now since its limit has now increased to 0.5 seconds. So from the beginning of the fight to this point, he went from 0.1 to 0.2 to 0.5. So he went from being 2 times stronger to at this point being 5 times stronger than he was when he first started. So he got 5 times stronger in this short amount of time, just showcasing how impressive and how rapid his improving ability is. It's just crazy. He got 5 times, he was able to stat boost himself 5 times just in that short time frame. So not only is it 0.5 seconds long, but it's also means that he is 5 times stronger, which is insane. And Goku, to counteract this, he says, you know what? I have this other special ability where I can also increase my power. I was going to use it against Beerus, but you know what? I'm going to use it against you since you're improving too fast. So he combines his Kaioken times with his Super Saiyan Blue, and he amplifies it so much to the point where it goes to times 10, which means that at this point, Goku is 10 times stronger than he was before, and he's at least 2 times stronger than Hit, because Hit's Tokutobashi went to 5 times, or around 5 times, because he was able to handle him when he was, when it was at 0.1 in Super Saiyan Blue alone, he was able to handle it. But once we went to 5 times, he was surpassed him. And once we went to like now 10 times, now he's able to, counteract and fight him. And he said, and then he goes on to say, the level I'm at now is far ahead of your time leap, which is true because he's 2 times stronger. So what happened was Hit got 2 times stronger, then he got 5 times stronger. Then Goku counteracted that with his Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, and multiplied it by 10. So since he's 5 times stronger now than he was before, Goku is now 10 times stronger than he was before, meaning he's 2 times stronger than Hit. And as this is happening, both him and Hit are going back and forth. Actually, Goku's able to push through, Hit's time leap pretty easily now. And he's able to beat him up. And he's now, changed the balance of the fight. Even with his, 5 seconds, he's able to actually break through it. He's not like just paused for the 5 seconds now. He's able to muscle his way through his ability, basically breaking his hack's ability. And as he's fighting him, he fires a Kamehameha at him, hitting him into the barrier. And this is actually pretty impressive because when he hits him into the barrier, we see the blast, but the blast is there. He actually moves so fast that he moves through his own Kamehameha and is attacking Hit right there. So now he's hitting him with the physical attacks while the energy attack is hitting him there. But the energy is still pouring out as it's hitting Hit, which is pretty crazy that he was able to move so fast that his energy attack was still able to go out. That's just crazy itself. So he basically, after he fired the energy attack, he goes after Hit. And as he goes after Hit, he tries to attack him, but something happens. Goku actually is the one getting taken down, and he gets beaten, thrown down to the ground. And everyone's wondering what happened. Goku just, broke his limiter by, using Kaioken, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10. And he was able to surpass him, but Hit is now standing and Goku's on the ground. As Hit goes on to explain, he says, I improved my time leap even further and I was able to dodge your attack. So, yeah, he was able to increase his time leap once again. Before, it was at 0.5 seconds, but since Goku got 10 times stronger, so he was 2 times stronger than Hit, that means that Hit's time skip would have to be more than 0.10 seconds long. So it probably increased more than that. So since Goku was 2 times stronger than Hit, that means Hit got more than 2 times stronger just to be able to combat Goku's new power and to combat his new transformation itself, which is pretty crazy because that means the last multiplier was times 5, then this one will be times 2 times that one, but the one when he first started, which was at 0.1, would mean that he was more than 10 times stronger because a 10 times Goku at this point would be 10 times stronger than Hit when he first started and 2 times stronger than Hit when we last saw him improve. So he was able to improve rapidly. He got 2 times stronger and faster. So now his time skip should be at least, more than 0.10 seconds. And he should be more than 2 times stronger than he was then to be able to surpass Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 Goku. So he's really powerful right now. Goku hasn't increased his base power. It's only the transformation itself. So he surpassed him. And then Goku realizes that there's a problem in this fight and he wants to change the rules, as he goes on to say. But because of the rules, Hit is not able to fight at his full strength. And even his Kai says, yes, the rules about not killing forces him to hold back his power. Now, this is very important because this means that even though Goku was able to give him some good pushback earlier, like, he was able to handle Hit in Super Saiyan Blue so well that he made him improve for the first time in his life. And also now Goku and his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 was able to body the other previous Hit. The only reason the problem with that now is the only reason Goku's able to handle him or do that was due to the fact that Hit was holding back because he can't use killing techniques. Meaning that the Hit that we've been seeing in this fight is a suppressed Hit, which means he was way stronger. And yes, he did need to improve, but that was because he can't kill him, so he had no other option but to improve. So meaning that the power scaling would actually change quite a bit. Why? Due to the fact that he was holding back means that he could have beaten Goku, and that means that Goku, when he was able to handle him those other times, doesn't mean he was able to actually handle him. It was just that he couldn't do anything. So what does this pretty much mean? It's a little confusing, I know, but this pretty much means that when Goku was fighting against Hit when he first started, the only reason Super Saiyan Blue was able to forced Hit to improve wasn't because Goku was stronger. It was because Hit was suppressing himself. So that means that Super Saiyan Blue Goku was weaker than Hit when he first started. Hit at this point should be at least 2 times stronger than Goku was. So some people might be saying, well, then maybe Hit was equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue Goku because he was able to push him. But since he was holding back, that means that he was suppressed. So he was able to push suppressed one. So that would mean that Hit was at least 2 times stronger if he was able to kill. Meaning that when he first fought against Super Saiyan Blue, he was stronger than Super Saiyan Blue by 2 times, and he was stronger than Kaioken times 10 Goku by 2 times also, meaning that he would have been actually stronger than him and not need to improve, but he couldn't kill, so that was the only other option. So yeah, that'll be upscaling Hit's power to 2 times. So whatever, feats that we have or power scaling we have before for Hit should be at least 2 times stronger than Goku was when he first fought him. So every multiplier should be increased by 2 as the fight progressed. And I'll go through all those too, but Hit towards the end of this video. Now, going on further, Goku goes on to say, if Hit wasn't holding himself back, the last move might have done me in. So hit him with his, a bunch of shots. He increased his, time skip high as hell. He was bodying him, and Goku survives, but the only reason he survived was because he was holding back. But after this, Goku realizes that they won't change the rules. They won't let, Hit be allowed to use his full power. And Goku's hears them keep on talking about them being pawns. He's like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm not gonna be anybody's pawn. My, my form is kind of at its limit anyway, so I quit. So he eliminated himself. So Goku lost. Then it was Monaka versus Hit. Hit basically eliminated himself just to let them win because he didn't really care. As this happens, Zeno comes not Grand. He's the Omni King, and since he's the Omni King, it's stated that he's the one who stands on top of all 12 universes. So he's the ruler of all the universes. He rules over them all. And then Goku starts talking about like, oh, can I talk to him and this and that? Is he strong? And then he's like, he starts losing it, and he goes and yells at Goku saying, if Omni King wished for it, he could wipe out all 12 universes in an instant. So not only does he rule over all 12 universes, but he can wipe them all out in an instant, which is pretty insane to hear that he can do that. Now, some people say that there's quite a bit of arguments on, is this because he just has a hacks ability that does it, like where he can erase things, or is it because he's a fighter or whatever? I'm not going to get into that. I can make a whole video about that another time, but I just want to say that he can wipe out all 12 of the universes in an instant. We do see this later on, though, in the Goku Black arc, though people just cap him off only at being able to wipe out 12 universes. But remember, once again, these universes are far bigger than our universe. So if we were to do a calculation of all 12s with, the 6 universes that I put, but we do 12 times 6, it would be 72, meaning that all these universes in total be equivalent to 72 universes. But we know that these guys are way stronger than that. Just because the cosmology caps off to having that many universes does not mean that their power is going to be limited to that many. And by what Beerus is stating here, he says he can do it in an instant. So yes, he could just wipe out those 12, but remember, that means in an instant, that means casually. So at the very least, he could casually wipe out 12 of the Dragon Ball universes, which would equivalent to 72 universes. And the Dragon Ball characters, they're a lot more powerful than that. They can increase their power more. So that's just at the bare minimum. People try to cap it off saying this is how powerful he is at most. No. This is how powerful he is at the bare minimum. And then also the other point that I was making in the beginning of the video, where I mentioned the fact that the Dragon Ball universe is not infinite. And I've used this in my argument, and people disagreed with me saying, no, the Dragon Ball universe is infinite. And the reason why I don't believe it is because we do see the edge of it when they summon Super Shenron, and as Super Shenron is getting summoned, we see both Universe 6 and 7 in the end points of it, and then we see the light glowing from both those endpoints because the Nameless Planet was literally at the edge of the universe. So this debunks that whole thing, and we see it even better as the light goes to dim back, and we see both the separate universes, and then there's like the empty space and this void. So yeah, like I've stated before on this channel, and like I was alluding to earlier, the Dragon Ball universe is not infinite. So to say that Whis was able to travel across the this infinite universe in 3 hours means that he has infinite speed like that, I do not agree with that. The universe is not infinite. He does not have infinite speed from that feat. He was able to travel across the whole universe in 3 hours, which is impressive already, but it was not an infinite universe, seeing as those two images pretty much proved that there was the boundary there, and we saw the edge and the boundary of its infinite. There wouldn't be one. So yeah, that's just not correct. That's wrong. And I'm not going to get into any arguments about that and go in depth and explain all that, because I already have evidence right there. I don't know how you guys are going to counteract, that. But there is still a calculation for that. Like I said, I'll be saving that for the end of the video. Now, going on afterwards, we see Super Shenron as he's summoned. We see quite a bit of, how impressively big he is. He's so massive that he's able to fly around a sun, and he's far bigger than the sun. And this is just when he's first starting to grow. So already from the beginning, from starting to grow, he's bigger than an entire star. Then he flies further and devours a gas giant that kind of looks like Saturn. So not only is he big enough to circle around an entire star, but he's also big enough to eat an entire planet. Then we see him growing further as he gets outside of the galaxy, and now he's actually around the size of like large galaxy levels. And then he gets even bigger as he's now dwarfing the galaxies, and we see a little galaxy right near to his forehead. It's even smaller than his eye. That's how big he is. That a galaxy is smaller than his eye and almost the size, and his teeth are even almost the size of it. Then he gets even bigger to the point where now all these other galaxies are dwarfed near him. The only reason that some of them look bigger is because they're further away from him. But the ones that are closer, if you see one of them specifically that's closer, it looks like a speck of dust. But the ones that are further away, they look bigger. But it's not because they are, just bigger in size. It's just because they're further away in distance. The closer they are, the more smaller they get. The further away they are, the bigger they look. But even in the further reaches, they're smaller than his teeth now. So even as further as he grew, his eye is so massive that you could put multiple galaxies in it. And his teeth alone are even dwarfing these bigger looking sized galaxies. But then we see his full scope of his body as we see all the other galaxies around him as he spreads his wings, which just showcases how impressively massive he is. We just see all the galaxies and just everything clustered around him, and also just showcase how many galaxies there are in the Dragon Ball universe. There's really quite a bit. There's really countless galaxies. Now, that was pretty much it for the feats and what we saw throughout this arc. So I'll just be covering some of the other calculations that I have and going over some of the feats that we saw in this arc, and just trying to explain a little bit further on how impressive they are and do some further calculations. But first, let's go to how fast Whis' feat was to be able to do what he did. So we're going to be going by, we're going to be doing both the observable universe and the estimated size of our actual universe. The observable universe is what people usually state, which is 96 billion light years, but that's not actually how big our universe is. Our universe is stated to be argued by mathematicians and scientists to be at least 250 times bigger than that. So I'll have the calculations for a low ball scaling for the speed feat and a high ball one. The low ball one would be pretty much, the observable universe, and the high ball one would be the actual calculated and estimation for our universe, which would be more around the real size of our universe and speed. So now first, what we need to do to determine how fast he was able to travel, one, we know his speed. He was able to do it in 3 hours. So 3 hours, how fast would you have to be able to travel across the observable universe within 3 hours? Well, since it's 96 billion, light years, we have to first identify how long is 1 light year. So 1 light year equates to almost 6 trillion miles, or 5.8 million, not 5.8 million, 5 trillion 800 billion miles. So it's around 6 trillion miles, 1 light year. Then we basically, what we do is we divide the light year by the speed of light, which is 670,661,629 miles per hour. So what we're doing here now is we're dividing a light year with the speed of light in an hour, because the speed that Whis went was within 3 hours, right? And we're gonna adjust it, obviously, but it takes light a year to travel 6 trillion miles. and in 1 hour it can travel that fast. So let's say a character was able to travel 1 light year in an hour. How much would he be faster than the speed of light? 8,648 times the speed of light. So that's the speed of light that you would need to go there. Sorry, I had to unplug the laptop that I'm using. But so that pretty much means that if a character was able to travel across one light year, they within an hour, there would be 8,648 times the speed of light. Now, since we have the calculation for how much faster a character would have to be than the speed of light to travel just 1 light year, now we will multiply that 1 light year by 96 billion light years, because we know that's how big the observable universe is. So what we do now is we get the amount of time it takes for a character who could, or how fast the character would have to be more than the speed of light to travel across 1 light year. We will just have to multiply that by 96 billion. So that would pretty much be now 8,648 times 96 billion. And some of you guys are going to wonder, just to explain again, I know it's a little confusing. I'm kind of stumbling on my words because I'm trying to remember how this works, because it's a little confusing when you do the calculations. Basically, if a character was to travel across, 1 light year, they would have, in an hour, they would have to go 8,648 times faster than the speed of light. And if that character was to go across not just 1 light year, but 96 billion, so we multiplied their speed times 96 billion in 1 hour, that would mean that the character would have to move pretty much around, like you can see right here, 100,000, 100 million, 100 billion. So they would have to move 830 trillion, 280 billion, 634,153,496.36 times the speed of a light. Of a character was to travel across the entire observable universe in 1 hour, they would be 830 trillion, 280 billion, 634,153,496 times the speed of light. So they'll be in the hundreds of trillions of range of times the speed of light, almost close to 1 quadrillion times the speed of light. But that's just the observable universe, and that's if somebody goes in 3 hours. We took in 1 hour. We took actually 3 hours, so we would divide that time by 3. So we wouldn't be actually moving that fast. He'd be moving quite a bit slower, but still pretty fast. He would be able, meaning that if we were going based off the low ball or the observable universe, that means that Weiss was able to travel across the universe at 276 trillion, 760 billion, 211 million, 384,493 times the speed of light. So even though the other one was far bigger, it was like around 830 trillion, this is a lot shorter at 276 trillion, but it's still pretty high. It's still in the hundreds of trillions of times the speed of light. So if we were to go based on the calculations of, like I said, the observable universe or the low ball, then Weiss at a max would only would be 276 trillion times the speed of light. But since the universe is actually estimated to be bigger, that would be actually multiplied by 250 times, making it far bigger. So how much bigger, how much faster would that increase his speed, even though he's doing it within 3 hours and not 1 hour? Well, how fast would he be able to go then? Let's look at the calculations as I have it up here. So all we do now is, since we already have the calculations for his speed, we would basically take, Weiss' speed compared to the observable universe, and now multiply that by the estimates compared to what the universe might be, which is 250 times, which would mean that we take the 276 trillion times that by 250 to upscale it from the observable universe to the actual size of the universe, which would pretty much make it 69 quadrillion, 190 trillion, 52 billion, 846 million, 124,996 times the speed of light. So at the observable universe or at a low ball, Weiss at most would be traveling at 276 trillion times the speed of light, and at the high ball or using actual calculations beyond just the observable universe, then Weiss would have been within that 3 hours of distance he traveled. He would have been moving at 69 quadrillion times, over 69 quadrillion times the speed of light. That's insane. That's insane if you ask me. So yeah, 69 quadrillion times the speed of light. So like I said, if you want to use a low ball, 246 trillion. If you want to use a high ball, 69 quadrillion. That's how many times the speed of light he was able to move to do this feat. Still really impressive. Now, the size of the Super Dragon Balls are pretty big. Like I said, they stated they were like over 37,000 kilometers. We see compared to Earth is actually only considered to be 12,756 kilometers in diameter. So that means that the Super Dragon Balls would be at least more than 2 times the size of our of Earth. It'll be at least more than 2 times the size of Earth. And then Neptune, the next closest planet to the size of the Earth, or the next biggest planet, would have a diameter in kilometers of 49,528 kilometers, which is quite a bit bigger than the Super Dragon Balls. So the Super Dragon Balls is a little more than 2 times bigger than our Earth, but a little bit smaller than Neptune, which is the next biggest planet after the Earth itself. Now, since we already got those out of the way, let's go based off of the calculations as a whole. How powerful have these characters have gotten? First, let's go with Goku and Vegeta. Since before, they would be 12 times more powerful. Since they fought, when they fought against Frieza, they were 12 times universal. Now, since they got 2 times stronger, they will be 24 times universal. So both Goku and Vegeta in base could one-shot 24 universes, and in Super Saiyan 1, they can one-shot 1,200 universes, and Super Saiyan 2, they can one-shot 2,400 universes, and Super Saiyan 3, they can both one-shot 9,600 universes, and then in Super Saiyan God, they can one-shot 19,200 universes, and then at Super Saiyan Blue, 960,000 universes. So both Goku and Vegeta at this point, they would be equivalent to pretty much, they would be equivalent to Golden Frieza, right? Actually, no, I'm sorry, that was wrong. They got it even stronger than that, right? Because for Golden Frieza, they would be no, I was right. Never mind, forget it. They would be able to one-shot 960,000 universes in Super Saiyan Blue 100%. So they're equivalent to Golden Frieza. So pretty much they only got 2 times stronger since the last arc. Physically, they didn't get much stronger, but that's still pretty impressive. Now, Hit, on the other hand, his scaling is going to be a bit more higher. At first glance, we would think that, Hit, when he first fought against Goku, he was equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue, or Super Saiyan Blue Goku is a little bit stronger, but since we know that he was holding back, meaning that he was at least 2 times stronger than Goku, that means that he would be actually 2 times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku. So when we first see Hit, he would actually be 2 times Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which already Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta were able to destroy. Also, it makes sense how he was able to destroy Vegeta pretty easily. So that means that Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, they can one-shot 960,000 universes. That Hit could also, since he's 2 times stronger than that, could one-shot 1,920,000 universes. That's crazy. So he is 2 times stronger than Goku and Vegeta, since he was able to take down Super Saiyan Blue Goku or Vegeta pretty easily. And the only reason Super Saiyan Blue Goku was able to handle him was because he understood his ability, but also Hit was holding back because he can't kill. So that would mean that Hit would have to decrease his power by at least 2 times, meaning that Hit at max holding back, he would be equivalent to Super Saiyan Blue. If he was to go all out and show his true power, he would be able to one-shot 1,920,000 universes. And that was when he first started. As the story progressed, he got even stronger. So after that, he got 2 times stronger when he fought against Goku and took him down. So that would mean that his multiplier would jump up to around 3,680,000. Actually, no. if you were to multiply that, it would by 2, it would actually go up to 3,686,400,000 what? No. Sorry, I'm gonna have to do the calculations again. So sorry for that. Like I said, there's something wrong with my calculation. I think I pressed the wrong button. But yes, it's supposed to be at max. When he increased his power the first time, he was at 3,840,000 times speed. Not speed light. 3,840,000 times universal. So he could pretty much at that point one shot 3,840,000 universes with the 2 times multiplier. But if we were to do it after that, which was 5 times, then it would pretty much go up to, let's see right here. Now we do times 5. That would mean 4,800,000. So before that, he would be around like over 3 million. He would be able to destroy 3 million universes, one-shotting it. But now he could one-shot 4,800,000 universes. Now, after that, we have Goku surpassing him in, in his Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 10 state, which would basically multiply his power even further and put him above Hit by 2 times. And compared to his original power, he would obviously be 10 times more powerful. But compared to Hit now, he would be 9,600,000 universes he can wipe out with one blow. So Hit at that point would be able to destroy over 4 million universes when he was at 0.5 times, a time skip. And Goku with the Kaioken times 10 would be 9,600,000 times universal in terms of power, and 10 times more powerful than he was when he first started to fight. But then Hit surpassed that. So we don't know how much stronger Hit got compared to Goku. We could argue that he got, let's say, 2 times stronger than Goku did in his final. So let's do that now and basically see how much that would be. So that would mean that if, for argument of sake, let's say that Hit got 2 times stronger than Goku when he went to Kaioken times 10, that would mean that he could one-shot 19,200,000 universes. So at the highest we see, which is Hit at his final time that we see him improve, which he was able to surpass, Kaioken times 10 Goku, he would be 19,200,000 times universal. That is insane. That's an insane amount of power, and that's just power alone. That's not even talking about his hacks ability or his speed or anything else. And also the durability would be higher than the attack damage, because if they can hit with that hard, then they should be able to handle that much damage coming back at them. So let's just wrap this all up. I know I've been going on quite a bit. I'm kind of, getting a little bit confused. I'm kind of stumbling over my words, like I said. I'm doing this all in one sitting. So if you guys see these long videos and not like I'm pausing and going somewhere else and then coming back, I'm pretty much doing this in one sitting. So I kind of tend to go a little crazy and get a little bit flustered because it's too much, It's kind of strains me a little bit. But going back to it, that showcases how powerful these characters are. Goku and Vegeta at this point would be equivalent to, at least in the max, they'll be equivalent to Golden Frieza. So they got 2 times stronger than the last time. So last time we saw them, they got 2 times stronger. This time they got 2 times stronger, but they didn't get more than that. And that means that at max, Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta would be equivalent to Golden Frieza, which would be almost around 1 million, be able to destroy 1 million universes already. Then when we get to Hit, since he was holding back, that means that he wasn't at full power, so he should be at least 2 times stronger than that. So he would be over the millions range when it comes to one-shotting over 1 million universes, right? And then we have him transitioning as he gets stronger 2 times that, and then it was like 5 times, and then it was like Goku surpassing him by getting 10 times. So now Goku is able to reach into the millions of ranges now of, universal levels of power because of just the transformation. So he was able to surpass that, not through increasing his base, but through using his technique. So that wouldn't add to his base or his other forms. It would just add to that. whereas Vegeta doesn't have that additional ability. So Vegeta would just cap off to that in terms of power. But that means that Goku at full power, he would be under 1,000,000. But if he was to use the technique with mixing with Super Saiyan Blue, then he could surpass that and get to the a couple of millions, quite a bit. 10 times multiplier is pretty high up. And then hit, I don't know how much stronger he got, but he was able to surpass, Goku and be able to handle him. So just going based off of the 2 times multiplier, that means that he would be, 20 times, at that point, he would be 20 times stronger than Goku was in Super Saiyan Blue. So if he was to fight against Super Saiyan Blue Goku, not Kaioken, he would be 20 times stronger than Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And Kaioken, he's 2 times stronger than him, meaning that he got 20 times stronger than he was when he was, first fighting, or at least like 10 times stronger, because like I said, he was 2 times stronger than Goku. And then his ability to stop time and move forward, now he can do it at like at least 0.10 seconds. So that's pretty impressive, but Goku was able to muscle his way through it. Goku, a lot of people argued that, this shows that he's faster than time itself. That doesn't indicate he's faster than time. That just showcases that he, with his increase of power, was able to surpass Hit's ability itself. The other characters, they didn't do anything too impressive. The only other kind of impressive statements that we've seen was like Gautama's ability to transfer the energy to another dimension, but we don't see to what extent. That's one of the things I didn't like about how they handled it. I want to see more of his power. Vegeta, nothing too impressive. Frost, pretty weak. Kaba, there's some argument there. I don't agree with him being equivalent to base Vegeta. I think he was just saying it to, hype him up, and he was training him, and we see with the whole Super Saiyan thing, so I think he's above him. But I really don't know where to put Kaba in terms of power. I guess I can do better, do more when we get to the Tournament of Power. And then with Super Shenron, he's just really big. He's able to dwarf multiple galaxies. And then when it comes to, I'm trying to think of what other thing that we got in this. Oh yeah, Zeno can destroy all 12 of the universes. And no, this does not mean this is his power at most or at his max. This is him doing this at without even putting full power. So this would pretty much be him doing this casually, meaning at the bare minimum, non-maximum, bare minimum, he could wipe out the entire Dragon Ball Cosmos. But even then, wiping out the entire Dragon Ball Cosmos, these characters are clearly above it. By the calculations I'm doing, the entire Dragon Ball Cosmos together was only 72 universes. But clearly, these guys are in the millions of ranges in terms of power, and they're way weaker than him. So that doesn't really, equate to it. A lot of people say, well, the cosmology is only this high up, so how can they be above that? You can surpass your own cosmology by multiplications and like power-ups and transformations like that. So yeah, I don't agree with those statements. Yeah, I'm guessing that's pretty much it. I rambled on for quite enough for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I can't wait to get into the next one. There's going to be quite a bit of jumps in power. I know that one, they get stronger throughout their base. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I can't wait to get into the next arc, and I hope you guys enjoy this too. So see you guys next time.